My 26M, GF, 25F, did a nude photo shoot without telling me. How should I feel? Girlfriend did a nude shoot with one of her friends with that friend's friend who is a photographer. Following so far? My issue is she told me she was doing a photo shoot with those people. She never mentioned anything about being nude. The shots are only of her. The two did separate shoots alone. However, she only did it to give them to me. So maybe I should be fine. But honestly, I'm still offended she did this without telling me. I think it's hella weird. And I feel embarrassed about having this emotion. But I'm jealous the photographer was a dude and got to see her naked. But because I think being jealous is kinda uncalled for, I would say that if she had told me all these details beforehand, I would have told her I was okay with it, and then probably gotten over it in a short time. But the fact that she didn't tell me, and even kind of twisted the truth to be more tame but not fully truthful, just really weirds me out. I love this girl so much. And I've had issues with jealousy in the past. So I'm looking for some others' opinions to get like a baseline. Take me back to reality if I need to be. Cuz IDK. Thanks TLDR. GF did nude photo shoot with O telling me, and now I'm upset she kept it a secret until after she'd done it, and jealous of the photographer. Cringe. Edit. We're taking a break. I confessed to my immature feelings. And she validated them, telling me she should have been transparent through the whole process. She's broken my boundaries repeatedly in the past regarding smaller issues. But she never gets more empathetic to them and continues to break them, leaving me feeling disrespected in the relationship. So I'm hoping a little time apart to reflect on how we both could be better partners for each other will resolve the situation. Regarding the shoot, I realize my jealousy results from insecurity, and it's something I have to fix within myself for intrinsic value. She confessed she's a bad listener and continues to break down my boundaries because she doesn't internalize my feelings when I bring up issues. I don't necessarily feel good about taking a break, but I definitely need space to process my feelings and insecurities and for her to reflect on the boundaries I've set to move forward. For the record, I never felt any possession over her. I told her that of course she can do whatever she wants with her body, but she still had a responsibility in this relationship. Thanks for the help, everyone. You've all given me some clarity in the situation, no matter what opinion you held. Last time this thread came up, people were asking who had rights over the photos. Her or the photographer? Can he publish these or use them in any way? Did she sign any forms, or was this a, I'm a budding photographer and you'd really help my portfolio so I can be professional one day? Professional? All good. Random guy with rights over the photos? Pretty dumb decision even if you weren't the jealous type. Okay, so, did she not tell you because she knew you'd pout, so she lied on purpose? Or did she genuinely not think you would care and didn't want to ruin the surprise? First is manipulation and boundary crossing. You should be pissed off and rethink the relationship. Second is just a communication issue. Tell her you would have rather known beforehand and to tell you when anything similar happens in the future. You live, you learn. No one is a mind reader. The crux of the issue is whether she respects your feelings and this was an oopsie, or whether it was intentional manipulation. I think the only reason she didn't tell you she was going to be nude was because she wanted to surprise you with them. It's highly possible there were no bad intentions involved here. Hello. I'm a former art nude photographic model who's done heaps of shoots with many male and some female photographers from 2016-2021. I've had a long-term monogamous male romantic partner throughout that entire time. I'm going to share my personal experiences, which I hope will help Op figure out how to navigate this situation. It's a long post, I hope that's okay. Op. It's great that you're honest here about your feelings of jealousy, embarrassment and offense. It's also great that you're aware that you've struggled with jealousy in the past, papering over your feelings would end up in a buildup of resentment over time. And it sounds like you're doing a lot of inner work to figure out how to approach this situation with sensitivity and care. And that's really cool of you. As an art nude photographic model, I was doing the nude work for photographers as a paid job, although when I started, I did do TFP, trade for print, photo shoots whereby I could use the photographer's images for my portfolio to eventually get paid bookings. In all those shoots, I was in various states of undress. The shoots were a live one-on-one experience in a studio, beach, forest, or home, and I had a strictly no-touch policy. I personally did not consider those shoots to be an erotic experience for myself, as I was not romantically or sexually attracted to the photographers. I'm a pansexual bisexual, and it takes a lot for me to be romantically or sexually interested in a person. Also, most of them were much older men who took up nude photography as a hobby. They had a lot of money to spend on more expensive gear than I ever had. I'm a photographer and a struggling artist, and many of them fantasized about being the next Helmut Newton or Peter Coulson or Sean Archer. Because this was a job for me, the experience was primarily about posing in ways that were flattering, sexy, moody, emotive, or whatever it was that the photographer client wanted. Sucking in my belly and holding it taut pre-breakfast at 5:30 a.m. before sunrise in a windy beach. Fully nude makes me look hot on camera, but isn't really conducive for a spicy romantic tryst with a strange guy in a regional town with bad mobile phone reception. I had to create shots that the photographer could use for his portfolio. Or, let's be honest, wank bank. One never really knows. So my role was to follow direction and receive available light beautifully on my body. Before I started this work, I was already doing nude modeling as a figurative art model for art schools and community drawing groups. So I wasn't a stranger to being seen naked by strangers of all genders. It's not a job for everyone, but it's also not that huge a deal. It's interesting because my body count isn't as high as many people I know. But I've probably been seen naked on the internet and IRL by more people with higher body counts. Before doing all of these nude jobs, I had a lot of conversations with my male partner, who is still my partner now. The conversations were about making sure he was okay with it, because no job is worth creating distress in the most important relationship in my life. Also, it was important for me to know where I was and who I was with for safety reasons, as the photographers were strangers and clients, not personal friends. Me going away with them for a few hours was always a risk. A lot of the photographers were super nice even if I wasn't attracted to them, even if they were attracted to me, and they would share their favorite photos with me, which I would always show my partner. He would sometimes get a little jealous, but he would also feel proud to be with someone other people wanted to photograph. I don't do this for work anymore because the pandemic killed the opportunity, and I found a couple of other jobs I enjoy so much more. I do still occasionally model for free for a close personal friend who is a professional photographer and exhibiting artist. My partner knows him well and gets along with him. I feel that a conversation with your girlfriend could help you and her sort this out. I don't know if this is something she does for a job like me, or if she was just curious, or if she was helping out her friend for an exhibition or for his portfolio or any other reason. I also know of some women who like posing for amateur photographer friends because it helps them feel good about their bodies. I think it's important for anybody working with photographers, amateur or not, to be aware that photographers do own rights to these images. Hopefully they're good friends who can speak frankly to each other about what the photographer can do with the images and whether he asks her for permission before using them in different ways. I.e., share on his photography website, put on OnlyFans, share with his photography club or course. When I started doing photographic modeling as a job, I'd always sign model release forms and put my own clauses. I hope your girlfriend is aware of her rights, and also of what's not her rights, especially if she decides this is something she'd like to do again. I would suggest aiming to have this conversation when you're feeling open and non-defensive and non-judgmental. Although broaching the topic might make her feel defensive, and it's often not productive to have a conversation when one or both parties are closed off. It might be great to also hold space for her to talk about her feelings about the shoot. Did she enjoy it? Will she see the images and can she show them to you? What was her motivation? What did she like, not like about it? It could bring you closer to each other for her to feel like this is something she can feel safe to discuss with you. TL. Dear, it's okay to feel what you feel, and I hope you and her get to have an honest, non-judgmental, non-defensive conversation. I wish you luck and I hope things work out. You know, why are you asking a bunch of strangers how you should feel? How would we know? Why should you care? What matters is how you do feel. And that's for you to decide and for you and your girlfriend to deal with. Good luck. Reddit is a collection of people from all walks of life, with a million different backgrounds, experiences, ages, etc. Why on earth do you expect a crowd of strangers to tell you how you should feel? The only question to ask yourself is, how do you feel? You don't need anyone's approval to feel a certain way. You hate what she did, and you are well within your rights to feel this way. Some people will love women gutsy enough to pose nude. Some will consider it a broken boundary. I am in the latter group. But my point is, you shouldn't care about that, because the only feelings and opinion that matter here is yours. If you have an issue with what she did, you can either communicate with her, tell her how you feel and see if you can fix it, or part ways. If the trust is gone and you think she showed too poor of a judgment, as long as the photos were just for you, I wouldn't be too worried. Boudoir photos are often given as gifts. What I am worried about is if the photographer has the rights to publish the images. Make sure she knows if the images can be published or not. She got those photos just for you, and it's probably best for them to stay that way. I hate to admit it, but some companies are quite misogynistic and could fire her for this. And maybe even blame the termination on something else that is minor or completely factitious. Your feelings are valid. I think she might have not known you would be so affected by this. It's best to talk this out calmly. Figure out why she didn't tell you. Maybe she didn't want to ruin the surprise. Maybe she was worried about what you would think. Maybe she thought you wouldn't care. You are allowed to feel however you do. Never feel bad for having feelings. Feelings are harmless, and actions are not. What you do with your feelings can be harmful. Take some time to think about what you will say. Make sure she feels comfortable, and speak openly but cautiously. Choose your words wisely. This conversation could go two ways. You come off as possessive. I know you aren't, but she might feel that way. Or you have a productive discussion. Keep in mind, she may feel differently. She might get the wrong impression that you feel entitled to her choices. You want to avoid that. Obviously you do not feel that way. But she doesn't know that. She needs to know that you are here with her and for her. Make sure to bring up other concerns like publishing rights. You need all the information before making any rash decisions. Breaks don't work. Communication and boundaries on what is acceptable for both of you and what isn't should have been discussed, and if you couldn't come to a decision, then you should have ended the relationship. Nothing is fixed on a break. The issues are still there if you reconcile because you haven't sat down and worked on the issues together. I think it comes down to context. Boudoir shoots are very common wedding gifts and are usually done by the opposite attraction. Say I'm attracted to men. It would be done by a woman. Vice versa. The goal is usual to provide an intimate gift to their partner while also helping them with confidence issues. I can understand why it could be off-putting, but I wouldn't take it that way. As long as things between you two are healthy, I don't see a wrongdoing. The photo shoot was done with a professional photographer, and she gave you the photos. There was no purposeful intent to deceive you. Appreciate her confidence in herself to have the photo shoot done, and her trust in you for sharing that intimate moment. I'd say she probably didn't tell you because she thought it was a surprise. Why don't you just talk to her about it? Too much common sense for Reddit? These comments are crazy. She doesn't feel anything for this guy. Just as he probably does nude photography as part of his job and likely feels nothing for her. A body is a body. She likely wanted it to be a sexy surprise for you. Women surprise their husband, boyfriend with boudoir photo shoots all the time. She only did to give them to me. All is there. It is a gift. She won't get angry that you don't nurture yourself the flowers you offer her. Same for the photo. By the way, my partner has done it 2 or 3 times. The first one was a Spencer Tunick installment. We were several hundred nude people in a theater in a rainy street. Believe me, it is just a question of habit and education. I think she just wanted to surprise you with the photos. She can do whatever she likes to do. She is a free person, not your belonging. If you can't tolerate this, you are not mature enough for a relationship where one or the other are free. If she gave the photos to you, it sounds like she did it as a surprise, and that's why she didn't tell you the full story. I don't know. We need to see the pictures to have an idea how you should be feeling. Sounds like she did it with someone she trusted. Her friend's friend. And both her and her friend felt comfortable and in a professional atmosphere. It's her body and probably have to trust her judgment here. She was doing it as a surprise to give you. If you would have been okay at knowing in advance, why not now? If you would have trusted her judgment and thought process if she had run it by you, why not extend the same trust if she wanted to surprise you? I'm a girl who has done modeling before. Granted, I've never done nude modeling, but had done bikini, etc. But I was signed with a small agency and looking at bigger ones. Just saying that I am fairly familiar with the world of photography. There are a lot of creep photographers out there, absolutely. But there are also a lot of professional ones who just happen to take risque photos. I think it would depend on who this guy is. Do the photos look well done? Do they have a watermark? Because often professionals leave a watermark. As for her not telling you, it sounds like she didn't tell you because it was a surprise. She told you she was doing a photo shoot, but sounds like she wanted to have a sexy surprise for you. I don't think that's out of pocket. I think this is just a discussion on boundaries you two should have for future reference. I think her reasoning makes sense and is valid. It's also valid to be a bit uncomfortable that your partner got naked in front of someone else. Even if it was for you. I don't think this necessarily needs to be breakup worthy, but definitely worth a discussion on future boundaries. She wanted it to be a surprise, I think.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.